Awesome. Okay. I met our next storyteller when I did a little play at Riley Little Theater this last spring. He is a local middle school teacher, but you've probably seen him on his recent episode of House Hunters with his wife. Bought a home in Raleigh when they relocated from Chicago area. Please welcome to the stage Rudy Rutherford.
One thing to do. What would you like?
Medic?
For you.
What's going on here, Rudy?
Get off the stage.
Thank you. Thanks, Justin.
Wow.
Thank you. I'm just finishing up a podcast right now. So give me a second. Finishing up This American Life. It's an NPR podcast. It's really good. You guys should check it out. I'm still catching up on my NPR. I'm about 3 weeks behind, but it sounds like Clinton's really got it in the bag. So
Wow.
fingers crossed, guys. Everything's gonna be great. So when Justin asked me last month if I would like to do a story for when there were cell phones, I said sure. I'd love to. I love that time. I can do a story about when I lost my beeper in my Jenko pants and it started going off and I couldn't find it because there's just so much material. And I'm brainstorming what to talk about, and my wife is trying to brainstorm about what to get the kids for Christmas. And she comes in and she tells me that she wants to give my daughter Margot an iPhone for Christmas. Margot is 7. Margot is in 2nd grade. She wants to give Margot an iPhone for Christmas. And I don't know if I'm ready for that. I mean, they're living in a time before they had cell phones. I'm living in a time before they have cell phones. I don't know if they're ready for that kind of responsibility because I'm not really ready for that kind of responsibility. I'm not ready to pluck the California-designed apple from the tree of knowledge and compile data and use it to do everything in the entire world, right? I don't think that they're really ready for that. But you know those obnoxious people that are like, oh, I don't have cable. I don't really watch TV. Yeah, well, I'm one of those people. You know, and it's not like I spend my entire time reading books and writing my grandma. I haven't read a book without being assigned it in over a year. But it's just that we don't watch a bunch of TV in my house, and we're pretty much what you call Hogan's Heroes. TV Nazis? Yeah. I don't spend a lot of time reading books. But I don't want to be a Luddite. Now, this is, and he said I'm a middle school teacher. This is the vocabulary lesson of my talk. A Luddite, according to Wikipedia, is they were 19th century English textile workers who believed that they would be made obsolete and protested in 1811 to 1816 against newly developed technologies. As a result, this group, the term has since become to mean one who is opposed to industrialization, automation, computerization, or new technology in general. So I don't want to be that. And as a middle school teacher, I do understand that using my looking up Luddite on the internet with my iPhone is indeed irony. And also that was alliteration. And also I should use a more credible source than Wikipedia. But I digress. Okay, so I don't want to be a Luddite, but I am totally old school. Like, for instance, I married the first girl that I had a serious textual relationship with. It's a true story. Yeah, when I had my first cell phone, I started texting my girlfriend, who's now my wife, back and forth. She went to school in California, I went to school in Chicago, and by the end of the month, I was still on my parents' plan, by the end of the month, not knowing that each text was 10 cents, my dad had a bill for $500. He came to me with this bill and demanded that we get married. He had so much invested in the relationship. You know, I don't know if I can trust Margo with a cell phone. I don't know if she's gonna like lose it at school or like lose it on the school bus. There's 5th graders on that school bus. 5th graders. Do you know what's on that cell phone? The internet is on that cell phone. Do you know what is on the internet? Do you know what the internet is for? If you're musical theater fans, yeah, you know what the internet's for, porn. Back when I was a kid, there were only 3 ways you can get porn. 1, your friend's divorced dad's house. Go look under the bed, look in the VCR, rewind it back to where you found it, make a note. Number 2, the vast reaches of cable. Like the really high channels. Yeah, it was all scrambled and you couldn't tell what was a boob or what was a butt, but it was better than nothing. And your last ditch effort, number 3, the woods. Sometimes, in the 80s and 90s, you would just be walking about, enjoying nature, and you would stick your hand into a log and pull out a rain-damaged copy of Cherry with an eye. I can't imagine what 12-year-old boys are like now, and I can't imagine what I would be like if I was a 12-year-old boy with a smartphone. Just everything you want at your fingertips all the time. When we were growing up, you'd sit around for like dial-up, right? And it would load like 1 line at a time. It would be like cleavage, 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 areola. And you'd be with your friends. So if there is one really good thing for 12-year-olds and the personal device, it is now that pornography is a bring your own device kind of situation, which I think is far healthier. One of the reasons that my wife really wants to get my daughter an iPhone is because it would be in lieu of buying her a camera. So in 2 weeks, as a family, we are all going to be going on vacation to Ecuador. And it is not because we're like, you know, the kind of rich people that fly to Ecuador and buy toy iPhones for their children to play building blocks with. No, it is because we have, you know, asshole, inconsiderate, selfish friends with no children who decide to have a destination wedding and really want you to go. So we're gonna go. My wife thinks, why spend the money on a camera, right, when we can get the iPhone for free? And I'm not going to go into the boring details about our plan with Sprint, but she's right. The iPhone would just be, we're due for an upgrade, and we can just have the iPhone, all right? So she's absolutely right. The iPhone is free. And the last point that she makes is that Margo really needs a phone. And she does need a phone. Margo kind of has her head in the clouds a lot of the time. And it has happened a couple of times when she's gotten on the bus, when she's supposed to be at science club, or she's started to walk home, when she's, you know, supposed to be at violin, and then I get messages from strangers like this. Technology, guys. Bear with me. Of course this would happen.
I forgot I had died and I stepped out of the house.
dad. Okay, fine. We'll get her the iPhone. We'll get her whatever kind of phone she wants. So we did. We got her the iPhone. And she has it now. It's a gold iPhone. It has a pretty gold leaf case. And you know what she does with it?
Throws it.
She listens to audiobooks from her library app and she texts back and forth with her Nana. Which is much more responsible than I'm ever able to be with a cell phone. And to that, I do know how to erase my cookies, but I was slow to coming on to incognito mode. So if there's anybody out in the audience that can help me out by figuring out how so that I'm pushing certain letters that certain horrible websites don't come up, let me know, I'll buy you a beer. Thank you.